Right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are joining us from today. Thank you for joining us at the online MuleSoft meetup. We're very lucky and pleased to have you with us today. So by way of introduction, my name is Royston Lobo. I'm a senior technical architect in the customer success team at MuleSoft, and I'm one of the event organizers for one of the meetup leaders for this group. We have other meetup leaders for around the world as well. So that includes Manik, Suyog, and Angel. And if you'd like to be informed about future events, please head over to that link where you can find all past events, including recordings and slides. And future events will be posted there as well, so you can get notified about them. Just some guidelines. Since we are in a virtual event today, please use the chat and the Q&A link to ask your questions and make any comments. All slides and recordings will be shared within 24 hours on the event page. So if you're looking for a reference for anything that's presented today, that's the best place to go to. We will be posting a specific Q&A link later on. So I ask that you please put in your questions there, so that way Shravan can address them as he gets them. So in terms of the agenda for today, we have a few updates that I'll be covering around MuleSoft, just to keep you up to date on whatever is happening in the ecosystem. And then we'll be passing it on to Shravan to talk about the main topic for today, which is MuleSoft Operations from anywhere with PagerDuty and Slack. All right, let's get into some updates. So the first update is that we have a new release of Exchange, and there are some new APIs that are available for Exchange as well. So the Exchange API version 2 is now available, as well as the Mule Maven facade. There are some benefits that are outlined here on the slide, but the idea is that we want to make it easier for developers to actually publish content onto Exchange, including documentation. Now, the good news is that there's no impact to existing setups, and there are options to migrate your pipelines to make use of this new functionality. So there's a link to the release notes, which will be in the slide, which you can refer to after this session today. For anyone who's trying to keep on top of the enhancements in the runtime fabric space, I'm pleased to announce that support for Google Kubernetes Engine has just been added in the last few weeks. So that means that RTF is now can work on top of EKS, AKS, and GKE, as well as the appliance model as well. So if you're someone who's looking at learning more about runtime fabric and we're looking forward to support for the Google ecosystem, you've now got that available. Again, more information is available in the documentation if you need that. All right, here's one of the bigger news items for today. So MuleSoft's Connect conference is now open to registrations and has been announced. So this is coming up in little over 40 days from now. This is going to be a follow the sun style of event where we're going to have some fantastic keynotes and speakers, as well as technical tracks that are going to be in there. And there's a whole new platform, as well as lots of live networking opportunities. And you can get the opportunity to learn from customers such as 7-Eleven, Audi, and AstraZeneca. Registration is free, so I recommend you register straight away. You can do it almost as I speak. The link is connect.mulesoft.com. I've pasted it in the chat. For most of the people on this call who are joining in from the ANZ timeframe, Australia-New Zealand timeframe, that would be 9 a.m. Sydney time on the 19th of May. So as part of Connect this year, we are also running a customer awards program, which is accepting nominations until April 14th. So you don't have too long to put in your nomination. Here's some details on the slide here as to what this involves. But the important thing is that you can submit a nomination, and it's a self-nomination process. So if you feel like you and your company meet this criteria, you can actually nominate yourself. And there'll be 3 categories and multiple winners for these categories, including Rookie of the Year. So rookie in this case means it's the first year as a MuleSoft customer. There's also an award for social impact and digital transformation. So some exciting prizes to be won as part of this. So I highly encourage you, if you think that you and the team have accomplished something significant over the last 12 months, please put in your nominations for the customer rewards. I'll share a link to the nomination later on in the chat, but they'll also be on the slides. All right, I know lots of people on this call are interested in certification. So I'm happy to announce that there is now a certification maintenance program in place. So many of you have certified yourself in one of these 3 certifications. So that's the developer or one of the architect certifications. The good news is that if you already have one of these certifications, you can actually do the maintenance exam to extend the validity for another 2 years. And for a limited time, from memory until the end of May, this is actually free. So it's a huge benefit. It's a lot less effort to do the maintenance than to do the full exam. So I will share a link to this in the chat, but it's the same link that's on screen. So go ahead, see if you need to extend your certifications, and if so, highly encourage you to do it before the end of May so that you can make use of this offer. For people who are keeping on top of the Friends of Max videos, these are short bursts of content that help you with different parts of the platform. Typically, they're between 5 and 10 minutes long. There are some new videos that have been introduced, including talking about a chargeback model and securing API access for clients and consumers. I also put a list of the top videos for March. So if that's something that you're interested in or you're not aware of, again, you can use the links on this slide to actually head to them. And all these videos are available on videos.mulesoft.com if you're interested. Now, we know that this is one of the more active meetup groups around the world, but we have a lot more meetup groups that are out there as well. So I just wanted to call out that if you haven't yet made yourself aware that there are upcoming meetups, and the best way to find out about them is to go to the second link on the slide towards the bottom. You can RSVP to events all over the world, especially now that they're virtual. But we have 4 groups that are hosting their first events, including a Portuguese-speaking group, as well as groups in Italy, Chile, and India. So yeah, there's lots of events. There's no shortage of content. I'd recommend going through and seeing if there are any topics that you are interested in, and then joining the groups that are covering those topics. I noticed a couple of, for people who are, I'll put in a message about the people who can't hear me because there seems to be an audio problem. So a message saying, please refresh. Who can't hear me still have an option to actually get some help. All right, so to conclude our intro, there is going to be a survey sent out after the event today. Please take the time to fill it out. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to give some feedback. It's a really good way of letting Shravan know that you appreciated his presentation. And it also gives us an opportunity to know that we've either done a good job or that there are some areas for improvement as well. And if you want to contribute more, you can let us know at meetups.mulesoft.com, or on the Meetup website, there's a section to either become a Meetup leader or a speaker for the next event. So there's lots of ways to get involved. Please don't hesitate. All right, with that, I will now give Shravan the opportunity to share his screen on his side, but I'll do an introduction while he does that. So give me a moment while I stop my screen share. So today's speaker is Shravan Vajrapur. Shravan works at Salesforce as part of the MuleSoft team, and so we have a unique opportunity to hear how Shravan makes use of the MuleSoft platform within Salesforce. He's graciously taken the time to prepare this presentation, so I'm really appreciative of the time he's taken. I'm looking forward to all of you getting the opportunity to hear it. Shravan, you are sharing your whole screen rather than the window, so you might need to stop and start just to share the window like you had earlier. And also you'll need to unmute when you're ready. Yep, that's working well now. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Um, I would like to thank Royston Lobo for this opportunity. I think this was one of the first of my MuleSoft meetup that I am presenting. I have been attending a lot of meetups prior, but I thought like this is one topic which everyone might be interested in listening and implementing in their respective organizations. And I thought like this would be a good platform to share the content and what we do internally with across the globe, and see if we can help out other teams that are facing such problems as well. So coming to myself, like I am working as lead member of technical staff at Salesforce, and I would like to. I'm more interested in travel, playing games, watching movies, and shopping. Unfortunately, I think it's all pandemic. It's all pick up or indoor games or like getting groceries to doorstep rather than going out anywhere. Hopefully, I think we will get back to normal soon. So this is a brief introduction about me. And today I will be covering about how to achieve MuleSoft operations from anywhere using PagerDuty and Slack. So this is the forward-looking statements. The agenda today will be like we will be covering up what are the current challenges with CloudHub alerts and monitoring, and we will showcase like the use case how to achieve MuleSoft operations from anywhere using PagerDuty and Slack. I'll give a brief introduction of configuring alerts in CloudHub, and also I will go through the steps that are needed in configuring PagerDuty, and also I'll be covering up integrating CloudHub alerts with PagerDuty and also Slack configurations, and then we will have the Q&A session. Okay. So I think we'll get started with the challenges. I think most of us use CloudHub as our one of the applications to host all our applications, and the challenges, like as our company grows, the integration grows, and I'm sure like large organizations or small organizations, today we are implementing API-led approach, which is like almost implementing microservices pattern, and the implementation wise, it is more granular and easy to implement each API. But as the APIs grow, the maintenance aspect of it comes into play. And as the APIs increase in number or applications grow in number, the number of incidents or issues that occur in day-to-day production are also the same. And today, almost every operation team spends 80% of time monitoring manually through email alerts. I'm sure like many of our implementations in organizations, we use email alerts as one of the main mechanism to alert some of the business teams or the operations team to say one of this application has failed or an API has failed, or we give more metrics around the reason for failure, or we add some other tools or other things in order to understand, like, in order for the operation teams or business teams to understand what is the root cause of the issue and how do we triage and how to fix it soon so that the customers are not impacted. So I'm sure like most of our organizations will have this common use case. And these are some of the challenges, right? Like, let's say we have 10 applications and they have alerts which each application runs 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes or every half an hour, and they produce a lot of email alerts. So practically, is it really viable for any human to go through all those email alerts? The answer is no, right? And that causes a different problem. Like as email alerts are growing, the monitoring is all becoming reactive rather than proactive. So the more alerts are being generated, the more logs are being produced as the applications are growing. The problems are only manipulating, or they are growing many-fold rather than any benefit that we expect that with the existing alerts. And one of the other challenges, like there are a lot of email alerts generated, and is there a way where we can do a simple search or identify which alerts are the ones are too critical for business stopping applications that we have to fix within certain SLA? Like not all applications can wait till a day or two or a week or month, right? Like any integration, it's heart of an enterprise. Like if an integration stops working, there is a lot of data that is not being synchronized or not being provided to the end user, and creating a lot of customer impact and customer disruptions. So we feel like that's one of the major challenge. And on top of it, even though an email alert is generated, we don't have a way to know whether who has fixed some of the issues or who is working on the issue and things like that. Again, it makes us to track each of these email monitoring manually, or again track this in form of a spreadsheet or some other tools, which means we don't have a way to integrate from CloudHub into an incident management system, which typically takes care of all the incidents that are created or generated. And right from generation to closure, that is something we see there is a gap which can be integrated or addressed through this approach. So these are some of the main things we felt like there is a need to increase more monitoring, alerting capability, along with tracking the issues to closure, so that our customer gets the best benefit and the organization runs very smooth and there are minimal disruptions. And this also leads to more proactive monitoring in place rather than becoming reactive and stuff like that. So these are some of the challenges that we felt are causing a lot of issues in an organization, and it needs more attention and alerts in making the monitoring more robust in place. So we felt like this is one approach by using CloudHub Operations. So most of the applications we generate from MuleSoft can send an email alert. So we thought like when the email alerts are generated, if we can integrate with a incident management system like PagerDuty, which internally can create an incident automatically, and then it can notify the operations team through Slack, that will be more proactive for the operations team to understand like there is a critical incident that has been logged and they need to work on it towards the resolution. And on top of it, like sometimes there are dependencies with each integration and with several teams. For example, an integration is reliant on systems like Salesforce database or Workday and other systems. Like the most frequent use case is like the passwords getting expired. That's as an example. So if a password expires, like technically a MuleSoft operations team will not be able to address it very quickly. Like they are dependent on the systems admins like DBAs or the Salesforce admins to generate a new password and things like that. So in the current CloudHub monitoring, what we felt is like email alert is coming, but manually MuleSoft Operation team has to send emails to different departments, collaborate with them, and then get all the relevant teams into a more closed space and get those addressed, which we felt like it is all in emails again, and there is no transparency to showcase or assign the particular issue which is blocking an integration, and the root cause is like a black box because it is only minimized, or it is only within the email chain. And we felt like having collaboration tools like Slack, we can add several people from different teams and we can collaborate more on that incident or a particular issue and get it to closure. So in this way, the life cycle of a Mule application, like we guarantee the issues are getting resolved in very faster and efficient way and more collaborative way, rather than having more traditional approaches. So in order to achieve this, there are 3 simple steps. Like one is on the CloudHub configuration, and there are few simple steps on the PagerDuty. And from PagerDuty, we have few configuration steps that needs to be done on the Slack. So by doing all these 3 steps, the way we were happy is like it is all with few clicks and configs, and there is no need for us to create separate APIs or apps or code that we have to plug into our MuleSoft application or change it or make it more tightly coupled with any other integration system. So we felt these tools are more through configurations, and anytime if we have to shift into any other tools or things like that, all the predefined configs are already baked into these systems. And that's why we picked these 3 as one of the easiest use case for achieving the operations from anywhere. So in this demo, in this session, I would like to say like, I will be showing one of the demo with the template, the Salesforce to DB accounts migration. This is one of the templates in MuleSoft. And we will be running the application and we'll show like the alerts or errors or the incidents that are created from this application are visible in PagerDuty as well as in Slack. So I think most of us, we are aware like we can create a alert using CloudHub Connector. So every application can send notifications using Connector. CloudHub provides it out of the box, and either we can have in the error handling flows, like we can have a connector, or we can have an email connector as well instead of a CloudHub connector. If we think like there are too many alerts and the rate limiting comes into play. And similarly, we can have a common system API, which if we think there is a need and necessity, like the same error messages have to be moved into different other systems. So it is dependent on each use case and also application or an organization's approach. So the best and simple way is like using the CloudHub native connector that is already available out of the box, and we can configure the alerts from CloudHub using the connector. And next is like, I'll be walking through the PagerDuty as well, the introduction. So PagerDuty is like an incident management system. It has a lot of out-of-the-box capabilities like creating incidents automatically and creating services with few clicks. And there are tabs like people, analytics, and things like that, where we can add teams and we can also assign teams automatically. And this is all through just clicks, not any code. So in this demo, we will be showing you like how to integrate with PagerDuty using email as an approach. So there is a services tab in PagerDuty, and when we click on the services and create a new service, so there is an option like we just need to provide few names and choose integrate via email. So once we select PagerDuty as email, PagerDuty will generate a unique email ID. So this will be our integration key. So the generated PagerDuty email we will be providing in the CloudHub alert configuration. So once this is done, we are technically establishing a connectivity between the CloudHub application and PagerDuty. So this is all through few clicks, and again there is no coding involved. We just create an alert in CloudHub and we just copy this email that is generated in PagerDuty and create an alert in CloudHub. So once this is done, we thought like we need more collaboration and we need to work with different teams or people in the team. So we thought we will add, even though there is an incident, again, there are chances like the communication is through emails, and emails are again, like as we discussed earlier, there could be too many emails, and in that email chain, there are chances like we may miss some of the critical incidents or issues. So to make it more helpful, we can configure Slack as from PagerDuty as an extension. So under the PagerDuty integrations tab, we also have an option called adding extensions or add-ons. We just need to click on add or manage extensions. So that will show like options in Slack. Like when we click on that, we have an option to choose Slack as our extension type, and we just need to give the name, and it has options like whether we can notify or acknowledge or do assignment changes and urgency and stuff like that right from here. So based on the configurations that we do in PagerDuty for Slack, it will be notifying the operations team or anybody on the Slack channel. So once we click on authorize from PagerDuty, the Slack configuration is done. So this is the page. We will give you the detailed walkthrough as well. So this is the email alert for CloudHub, and this is the Slack channel. So not only Slack, we can also add many more extensions. Like at the same time, if there are customers who are on different other channels, like, and if we need tickets to be logged in Jira or Microsoft Teams, there are extensions that are available in PagerDuty, and we can have multiple extensions for the same service and configure in PagerDuty itself. So this is how we configure alert in CloudHub. I think most of us are aware on how to create alert. So we will choose create custom application notification in CloudHub, and we will add the PagerDuty generated email in CloudHub alerts recipients, and then create an alert. So once we do that, and all the alerts are then available in Slack, so alerts are then converted as instance, like each error or alert will be converted to an incident, and it will be notified in the PagerDuty as well as in Slack in the real time. So all the alerts or the incidents that we get, there is an option in Slack. You can acknowledge the incident, we can view the details, and we can resolve or do many more things using Slack itself. So which makes our operations to do anywhere from, once we have a Slack in mobile, we can see the incidents from mobile as well. So which means the operations can be done anywhere through Slack, through collaboration is what we are achieving through these integrations from CloudHub, PagerDuty, and Slack. So in this way, like all the critical incidents can be addressed on time, and all the collaboration issues can be easily sorted out using Slack. And this helps us in getting better customer experience and solving the major critical incidents in a very faster and efficient manner. I think do a demo.
So Shravan, for the demo here, the voiceover, do you want to speak to it or do it differently?
Okay. Maybe in that case, I'll do it live in that case. So is everyone able to see?
We just noticed a little bit of pixelation on our screens on this side. Are you able to maximize the Chrome window that you're in? Just let's see if that helps the resolution.
Yep.
Yep, I think it's visible. It's not fantastic, but I can make out what's in there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think to give a brief introduction of PagerDuty, so this is like an online tool. We don't need any server setup and things like that. So this is, it has options like we can see all the incidents in one window. And similarly, like it generates a lot of post-mortem reports out of the box. We don't have to create any custom dashboards or custom metrics based on the incidents that particular team has. And it has services categorization, and we can create different services. Services can be a logical group, like any integration, for example, like one integration we can categorize as service and then create. And we can create teams and add users. So sometimes we will have different teams in an organization, like MuleSoft Operations as one team and database operations as another team, or Salesforce admins or Workday admins, or so there will be different teams, and each team we can have users. So the first step to configure is like create a team. And in this case, I just created MuleSoft integration as one of the team. And I added my name as the user. And in each of these teams, we can add schedules, escalation policies, services, and subscriptions. So schedules is like you can add a schedule, like the members who are available during that time to support these integrations. And escalation policies can be like, not all applications are critical, right? Like few applications will be very critical, like business stopping. Like if the application or integration stops, like the complete business will come to an end, or it will be a major disruption, right? So based on those integrations or services, we can configure different escalation policies, and and each team can have different services. Like in this case, we are MuleSoft integration team, and we are creating MuleSoft CloudHub integrations as one of the service. So this is how, once we create people, users, and teams, all we need to do is like we'll go to service directory, and there is an option to create new service. So maybe let me create a new service. So in this example, as I have stated, like I have configured one of the MuleSoft template, that is Salesforce to DB account migration. We need to give a description. So as I mentioned, I am using email as the integration type. So as you see, it auto creates as an integration email. Say like and the escalation policy is default. And if we want, we can create different escalation policies. As I mentioned, based on a service, we can create any number of escalation policies. So there is an option like if we want alerts and incidents, we can create both. Or if we need only incident, we can just select this option. And sometimes there will be too many noise, like for the same issue, there are chances like we are bombarded with too many alerts, right? Because the integration may be running every 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 30 seconds. So in order to avoid it, PagerDuty also has intelligent alerting grouping. So we can group all the alerts into one email chain or group so that it doesn't pop up or create too many incidents for the same issue. So I just add service. So once we create a service, so this is the integrations tab. So it created me an email. This will be our integration key. So we can click extensions here. So if you see, there are several options like ServiceNow, Slack, Jira, and many others like Microsoft Teams and think Zendesk as some of the options. So in this case, I'll use Slack. So when I click authorize, so it will take to a PagerDuty configuration page. And we can select a channel. So I'm selecting MuleSoft integration alerts. So on the Slack channel, we have to do one more step. We just need to type. So both Slack and PagerDuty are now connected. And now I'll take this integration key from PagerDuty and copy it to my CloudHub alerts. Let me pause sharing for a minute. So this is account configuration. So I'll be taking this key. So the alert is configured. So now I have the application ready. I'll run. So if you see, we have received an incident on the Slack channel. And similarly, if we go back and see and refresh this page, there is an incident that is created and says it's awaiting response. So now, once the incident is available on Slack, we have an ability to acknowledge from Slack and do more actions like view details. So I can view details here in my Slack channel about the incident, what is the issue, and what's the alert, why am I receiving this incident. And similarly, from this, if we think this is a known issue, first thing I would do is acknowledge. So the moment I acknowledge, it auto acknowledges in incident as well, which means the moment incident is created, an operations team can acknowledge and share like they're already working on it. Now, once it is acknowledged and if we think it is all resolved, or if we need to create another channel to collaborate with other teams, we can create channel, or if we have to escalate, we can do it. And similarly, if we think this is all resolved, we can click on resolve from here. That's it. The service is up and running and the response is all captured, and we know like how many instances are created. So we can see all the resolved instance in this tab. So as an operations team, we will have all the list of instances in one page, and we know like what is the impact and who worked on that particular incident and when it got resolved, and it will have all the incident postmortem reports in PagerDuty. So it has all last 7 days history, or I mean, we can pull reports up to a certain period of time. So all the alerts we can view and see and bring all the reports and stuff like that. So this is something which is very useful, and we'll get to know like how many incidents have occurred within our team and what is our response time and how many are escalated or reassigned or still open. So these metrics are very useful for any operations team to be more successful and proactive. Sorry. So I think maybe I have to optimize. How about now? This.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So with these integrations, I think as you have seen the demo, like it is all few configurations and clicks. There is no code involved. We are getting quick notifications, and the customer service is highly improved because they are getting the service and somebody is looking into it very faster. And it is helping us to do proactive monitoring and collaboration through Slack and PagerDuty with faster resolution time, which means we can focus on creating more innovations, service our customers in a faster way, and then with less effort and less manual interventions, we can achieve this digital operations or MuleSoft operations from anywhere using all these tools and collaborations. These are some of the useful links, and we are open for the Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your presentation. I definitely learned a few things along the way there. I have a question, and for anyone who hasn't yet asked their question and has them, you can either post them preferably on the link I posted in the chat. Alternatively, you can post in the chat itself, and we'll be able to get to them in the next few minutes. So we have a question come through, and the question is, alerts be sent to a centralized operations team or like a NOC team before coming to the incident team? So where there is multiple layers of incidents teams, how would this configuration work from your perspective?
So basically, like it's all services, how we organize in PagerDuty, right? We can have one centralized service, like where we configure all the emails, to that. And once the centralized NOC team gets it, they can auto assign that incident to the respective teams. So in PagerDuty, there are options to create a parent team, child team, and things like that. So that is more configurations on PagerDuty.
Okay, thank you. And for people who haven't heard of PagerDuty or haven't experienced the benefits of it, how would you communicate what it brings to you and your team? Like, what can they tell their leadership team to say we should have something like a PagerDuty for us?
The first and easiest thing that we felt is like there is no server setup or any other infrastructure setup. It's all cloud based, like CloudHub, and it is just few clicks and configuration based. Like there is no additional manpower or learning curve needed. We can do it like everybody who is working on the current operations team, they can quickly configure this without much training or like third-party certifications and stuff like that, which makes the adaptability of this tool very quick. And I don't see any major challenges because we were able to configure this within 30 minutes. From the day we got to know there is a tool called PagerDuty.
It's good to know. Do you have any first-hand or second-hand experience with using something like ServiceNow instead of PagerDuty or on top of PagerDuty?
We had, but this is one of the used applications in our organization. So we are more into PagerDuty as our incident management tool. But there are configurations that can be done from ServiceNow as well, is what, as far as I know.
Yeah, I haven't had first-hand experience of it, but I know many organizations use things like ServiceNow. I think it's a matter of configuration. So if the tool allows for it, then it can be done. But it might not be as straightforward.
Even from PagerDuty, we have ServiceNow as configuration option, as we discussed in the demo, right? So,
yeah, I think not organizations have PagerDuty, but more of them will have a service management tool like ServiceNow or Service Cloud.
Right.
Excellent. So there are questions I can see in the chat or in the Q&A link. So I'll take that as a hint that everyone has understood your content. Sharman, thank you very much once again for the time and effort. We've had one more question come in, so let's address this one. How about errors and events from CloudHub? Like if workers have an issue or a restart, is there a way for those to be alerted through this mechanism?
Yes, of course. I think in one of our slides, we said create custom applications as an alert, right? Like when we create CloudHub alerts. So I think we can create, CloudHub, it gives us different drop downs, right? Like you can have service alerts whenever there is a restart or CPU utilization. All we are doing is configuring the PagerDuty email to those alerts. So instead of choosing a custom alert notification, we will use the other drop downs that are available.
Excellent. Thank you.
I think we can show live if somebody is interested. So we have a condition here, custom notification, right? Instead of that, we can select the CPU, deployment failed, anything, and create another configuration and just use that service. That's it.
Excellent. Yep, I think that's quite clear to see. Thank you for sharing that. So we'll take that as a close. So to see if there's any. I think we've got a few questions asking about, can we use Salesforce CRM instead of PagerDuty and email instead of Slack? I'll respond to that first, which is that there's almost an endless number of permutations you can use for alerting and notifications in the ecosystem. Usually it depends on what tools your company has. Email is out of the box with CloudHub, so in fact it actually requires less configuration. Slack requires a little more config, but Slack tends to be a more responsive platform for most people. If you haven't come across these integrations, I think that it's Chakrapani. You can search for them on the search, will get you what you need. But this topic here on configuration for PagerDuty and Slack, just because that's what Shravan has experience with, and it works really well for the team. All right. Thank you very much, Shravan, once again. For anyone who joined, slides and recording from today will be on the event page within 24 hours for that. Once again, I ask you to respond to the feedback survey that will be sent out. In 5 minutes, you get a chance to win a card as well. And thanks, Shravan, for his time and effort as well, putting this presentation together. We will be back soon, within a couple of weeks, with our next topic. But until then, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And thanks, Raistan, for hosting.